Story 1. Seeing elderly people who look frail and helpless motivates me to never be like that. Story 2. I am tired of hating what I see in the mirror. I promised myself I would build muscle by the end of the year. I might not reach that goal, but as long as I make some progress, that is acceptable. Story 3. I am 71 years old, and I work out almost daily. Something a fitness coach said decades ago stuck with me. Exercise so I do not have to suffer the indignity of someone else having to clean my bottom in my old age. There are clearly degrees of quality of life, and I work hard in hopes of never sinking that low. Story 4. I feel like I have to do it. If I miss my workout, I cannot wait to get back to it. Story 5. I have lost 120 pounds since 2021. I no longer need diabetes treatment. My diet and exercise routine have made me healthy and energetic. I turned 60 this month and am healthier than I have been in the last 20 years. Even more amazing is how it has helped me mentally. I no longer get angry or anxious. When I am tired, I work out and feel alive. Exercise is my drug of choice. Story 6. Mental health. You can literally outrun negative thoughts. Cheaper than therapy, if you do not include physiotherapy bills, running shoes, and entry fees. Story 7. To prove to myself that I can stick with something for more than a week. Story 8. I used to be all about the look when I was in my 20s. I was a skinny kid and people made sure I knew how skinny I was, so I always wanted to build muscle. But now it is about longevity and health. Having muscle in your 60s and 70s would make a huge difference in quality of life. I do not mean being big or ripped, just maintaining muscle. Story 9. It's not about appearance. It's about mental calm. That hour of lifting or running is the only time my brain truly focuses on one thing. It reduces anxiety for the rest of the day. Story 10. Managing the hypertension I inherited on my father's side of the family. Story 11. Observing elderly individuals who appear frail and vulnerable reinforces my commitment to maintaining my own well-being. Story 12. I do not like conventional workouts. They are boring, so I need activities that are engaging to get exercise. I have started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and part of that requires strength training so I do not hurt myself in class. I am motivated to work out because I do not want to get hurt in the hobby I enjoy. Story 13. Achieving something helps. I have a very stressful job, and most days I feel quite depressed about it. But then I go to the gym, do cardio or lift weights, and I feel powerful and in control again. It is something I can control that affects both my physical and mental health. Story 14. I exercise for my health. I see too many people who do not engage in sports or physical activity, remain sedentary, and develop pain throughout their bodies that limits them every day. I do not want to be like that. Story 15. The long-term health benefits are like buying extra years for future use. Story 16. It makes me feel good. I sweat out all the bullshit. I've never regretted a workout. I've regretted plenty of skipped workouts, though. Story 17. My father's heart attack got me started running. I quickly realized it did wonders for my mental health, so now I cannot stop. Story 18. It releases endorphins that calm me and make me feel happier. It also helps me stay fit and look more attractive. Although my main reason is to improve my mental health. Story 19. Mostly anger. Every repetition feels like justice for something I can't change. The body heals faster than the mind, so I start there. Story 20. I was anxious and depressed. I started working out and felt much better. I feel good. I am less tired throughout the week and overall more capable in everyday life. There is also reassurance that when I reach middle age and retirement, I will still be able to travel and enjoy life. Story 21. It's like brushing my teeth for my insides. Imagine I didn't shower or clean my organs and muscles. Feels gross. Story 22. I like to eat. If you want to eat, be willing to work or work out. Story 23. Working out and eating well are privileges. As soon as I realized that, I have been going to the gym 6 days a week. Story 24. I am tired of being overweight. Working out can be fun. I use the elliptical while watching Netflix, but often I end up watching a movie instead of exercising. Story 25. Much of my confidence and self-esteem is tied to my appearance. Positive comments and glances I receive encourage me to keep going. Story 26. I want to stay healthy. I am learning to ice skate, and it is helping me get fit. Story 27. It gives me a great sense of purpose. I struggle with my mental and physical health, including chronic pain, so working out and eating right are among the few things I can control in my life. I also remember how unwell and out of shape I felt before. Story 28. Also, if you do not do some form of regular resistance training, you will experience many health problems later on. Story 29. If I do not do it, my body will start aching. I am 37 years old. Lifting is part of healthy aging, especially for men. Story 30. I spend my time focusing on one thing, listening to music while exercising. I avoid listening to energetic music at other times so the music remains associated with exercise. I also work in the intensive care unit. Story 31. I honestly get depressed or anxious if I do not exercise regularly. I hate exercising, but it feels worse if I do not. Story 32. Food. I do a minimum of 3 sets of 734 chin-ups with my fork every day. Just joking. Story 33. I fear being denied birth control pills if my numbers do not look good on paper. Story 34. I used to work out regularly for nearly 15 years. Then I met my wife and stopped. We were together for 5 years and I almost never worked out. Last year we divorced and I became very depressed. I decided to make a change. The divorce set me on a new path of self-improvement. I began working out intensely 3 to 4 times a week. I am 40 years old and at the peak of my physical fitness, in better condition than most people aged 25 to 30 I see at the gym, both in appearance and strength. Feels great, and I have no intention of slowing down. Story 35. I want to do a one-arm pull-up because working out is easy. Story 36. I tried many types of exercise and hated them all. Then I started swimming in the morning before work at the Young Men's Christian Association. The water calms me and I don't get the feeling of sweat on my butt, chest, or back. The slightly chilly water invigorates me. I shower afterward and am ready for another boring day behind a desk. Story 37. Great question and great answers. From someone who has been working out for over 50 years, I keep doing it to keep the old man away. Story 38. I started live-action role-playing at 30 years old, and while I am not unhealthy, I have done almost no physical activity my whole life. Competitive foam stick fighting has become the central driving force in my fitness journey. I now work out 3 to 4 times a week, and I usually go to practice on the other days to keep my energy levels up and to help prepare my body to prevent injury as my 30s slowly take their toll. Sometimes motivation comes from the strangest places. Story 39. It's a habit developed over the years. Fortunately for me, I don't need any motivation. I just go. I understand it's not the same for everyone, though. Story 40. I exercise to achieve visible muscle definition, but otherwise exercising is a chore. My brain doesn't release dopamine afterward, and I hate strength training, although I enjoy cardio. The results force me to continue and try harder. Story 41. I feel much better mentally and physically if I exercise regularly. Story 42. My body gets sore and cranky, but if I work out it helps a lot. A run and a stretch make me feel much better. Story 43. I was skinny my whole life until my late 20s when I grew tired of it. I got a gym membership and began seeing results, but once I reached my goals I needed new motivation. I started powerlifting and competing, but I recently stopped competing. Still train like a powerlifter, though my competition days are behind me. I am now 40. There are days when I do not want to go to the gym because of my mental health, but I have reached a point where I realize I have put in too much work to quit completely. Story 44. Getting stronger motivates me. I hated doing fitness when I was 18 and stopped quickly. I have practiced martial arts for 15 years and I am 48. Martial arts gave me motivation, but because it was mostly conditioning and not much strength training beyond calisthenics, I developed injuries and back problems. My job in healthcare suffered because of this. For the past year, I discovered the novice linear progression in starting strength, a compound barbell program that targets fundamental functional movements. I have not had any back issues since I began training, and even though the movements are the same, I enjoy setting personal records at every training session. I know exactly what to do on any given training day. It is just a bit more weight than last time. Each set feels like a maximal effort but slightly heavier, so I get stronger over time. It is addictive and far better than messing around with random machines in the gym like I did when I was 18. Story 45. Overall health matters. Trust me when I say life is much more enjoyable and fulfilling when you are healthy and sober. Story 46. The best way to exercise is to do something you enjoy. If you do not enjoy exercising, you will stop doing it. That is why many people cannot stick with a gym. I started riding bicycles because I loved motorcycles but did not want to suffer serious injuries every few years. I have been riding year-round since 1990. I love being outside and have made some really good friends while riding. They are healthy people who have their lives together because it is not cheap to own a bike, especially recently. Story 47. Seeing the progress I made in the mirror always motivated me to do more every day. Also, seeing my dad and many older people around me so frail even in their 40s and 50s scares me. Story 48. It feels great, and the results are rewarding. We are built to move. Story 49. I am 42 now and I want to keep my body healthy. I do not lift heavy weights or run marathons, but I practice a variety of bodyweight exercises and some weight training. I was the skinny, tall kid with glasses in school and was bullied for it. Now I am clearly above average in strength. I have had suicidal thoughts since I was a teenager, and putting time, effort, and sweat into my body anchors me to life and helps me fight those thoughts. I am sorry you are feeling this way. If you are in immediate danger, call your local emergency number now. If you are in the United States, call or text 988 for suicide and crisis support. If you are in the United Kingdom or the Republic of Ireland, call Samaritans at 116 123. If you are in Australia, call Lifeline at 13 11 14. If you would like, I can help you find local resources or rephrase this text further. Story 50. It is a habit ingrained in me and feels necessary. It helps me do many things I might not do otherwise. You learn to brush your teeth as a child when you probably would not do it on your own. As an adult, you know how it feels if you do not brush. If you have never maintained a consistent workout habit for many years, you probably do not know what it feels like to stop. I can only manage about 2 weeks before I feel terrible. Story 51. I am afraid of developing kinesiophobia in my 60s, so I have to keep moving. Story 52. I do not want to regain the 10 kilograms I managed to lose. Story 53. I used to work out to attract women, but that did not work. Now I work out because I do not want to be old, stiff, and using a walking stick. It also eliminated my back, neck, and headache pain, and I am fitter and healthier than everyone else in my family. Story 54. When I'm running, my brain is quiet. The post-lifting muscle tension is the best drug I ever had. Story 55. I go to the gym a couple of times a week. I dislike it, but feeling terrible is worse. Story 56. My body feels terrible if I do not maintain at least moderate exercise several times a week. Conversely, I feel much better when I am physically active. I experienced life at a higher weight and it was unpleasant, so I want to prevent that as much as possible. Clothes are easier to find in smaller sizes. Story 57. I found my motivation 2 nights ago at a concert when I realized I did not have the stamina to mosh like I used to. Story 58. Starbucks, Dunkin', and Burger King are across the street from the gym. Story 59. I realized I felt too crippled for my mid-40s and stopped associating it with the need to lose weight. The gym is for strength. The kitchen is for diet. Since that change, I have not missed a day. Story 60. My mom died last month. Lifting weights is the only time I do not focus on that fact. In short, I feel sadness. Story 61. Possibly contracting a staphylococcal infection and paying a lot of money for a gym that I will not use 80% of the time sounds like an awful idea. Story 62. seeing positive changes in my body and being able to lift heavier weights regularly. Story 63. I have back pain if I do not work out. I want to continue traveling the world when I am retired. Story 64. I used to weigh 300 pounds. I started working out every day and eating well, and I am now 160 pounds and 6 feet tall. Avoiding becoming overweight again motivates me. If I gain a few pounds, I put in a little extra work at the gym. Story 65. 1. I know I will feel much better for doing so. Less anxiety, more energy, less physical tension, greater happiness, and more self-respect. 2. It took me a long time to notice any change in my appearance, that is, becoming more muscular. Now that I can see that difference, the idea of ever not being muscular motivates me to continue weight training for the rest of my life. I started weight training 9 years ago, and the above reasons are my motivation. I should point out that motivation will always have its limits. Jocko Willink says discipline is much more powerful than motivation. It is hard to be constantly motivated when staying in bed or on the couch is so comfortable. Discipline means respecting something higher than yourself, a belief that it is not all about you but about a higher purpose. The purpose could be as simple as the belief that you must aspire to be the best version of yourself. If you truly believe that you do not need motivation, you simply go work out, and negative or contradictory thoughts will not prevent you from going. Story 66. I work with very active young people whose hobbies include CrossFit and competitive cheerleading. I originally started exercising because everyone else was exercising, but it has helped me feel better, so it is easier to keep it up. Story 67. I want better sex. After gaining weight, I did not have as much stamina to satisfy my partners. I need to stay in shape. Story 68. My wife likes my body, and she deserves the best version of me. Daily physical activity becomes easier, and I want to live a high-quality life for as long as possible. Exercise helps me set and achieve goals even when other areas of my life are difficult. It reduces stress, provides an outlet for anger, and improves sleep. I want to be around for my daughter, future grandchildren, and even great-grandchildren in a functional state. I also enjoy food, and working out gives me more leeway with what I can eat before it harms my health. Story 69. I would hate for yesterday's me to be better and stronger than today's me. Story 70. Honestly, I have never felt the high people talk about. In my youth, I would walk about 4 miles a day, and I did lose about 100 pounds, but I got bored of it and stopped. Now I walk only about 2 miles a day with my dog because I work and have other responsibilities, and I do not want to spend time on something I do not enjoy. It is just another item on my to-do list. I have never noticed a change in my mental state. Exercise does not solve the problem. If you are fine with that, I have nothing more to add. Story 71. Cycling brings me so much joy, and it's easier than ever to track all the relevant data, which motivates me. That data includes distance traveled, vertical feet climbed, average heart rate, estimated power output in watts, and how I rank on Strava relative to my age and weight. Some people are driven by data and others are not, but data has always been a motivator for me. Story 72. I do not really need any motivation. I have been working out steadily for about 8 years. That is the period of a consistent plan and proper diet. I started my first workouts in high school, and I am 34 now. Exercise is an integral part of my life. I cannot imagine not working out, just as most people cannot imagine working out regularly. If I occasionally stay home for no good reason, I feel bad for wasting time and doing nothing, so it almost never happens. I even feel bad about not working out when I have a cold, because I consider it my fault due to negligence. I take breaks occasionally to regenerate fully, but after 2 weeks off from training and a good diet, I crave good food and exercise again. I immediately notice the downsides. Less energy, worse sleep, large blood sugar fluctuations, tiredness all day, waking up already feeling tired, and feeling hungry even after eating. For most people, those negative effects are all they know, but once you experience the other side, you do not want to return to a lazy lifestyle. Vanity is an added benefit. The way working out helps you look is welcome and enjoyable, but it is a small part of the advantages of training and a good diet. I recommend it to anyone Start and force yourself for the first few months. Unless someone understands why a proper diet and physical activity are important, the change will not stick. You need to flip a switch in your brain, acknowledge it, and commit. Forcing someone rarely works beyond a short time. Ultimately, this is a change in your entire lifestyle, not about losing 10 kilograms in a few months and then returning to unhealthy habits. That is why statistics show most people regain all the weight they lost within weeks. In summary, do not look for motivation outside yourself. Your only limit is your own brain. Story 73. The modern tablet and streaming era helps a lot. I am working my way through the back catalog of the best television shows and movies ever made while I use the stair climber. Streaming is so good that I can even watch live sports on it. I almost never use my home television anymore, so to see the next episode, one have to get on the stair climber. Story 74. Exercise should be something you do the same way you tidy a house or prepare food. Simple activities such as going for a walk is fine. On occasion, it is great to do nothing and relax, but moderation is key. Otherwise, you will grow old and realize it is 10 times more difficult to get moving. Story 75. I want to be proud of the person I see in the mirror, not just accept her. Story 76. I generally feel better when I make progress toward being healthier and looking better. Story 77. I truly enjoy the process. No matter what exercise you choose, make it something you enjoy, because you will not stick with it otherwise. My favorite activities are mountain biking and trail running. I do strength exercises because they make biking and running more enjoyable. This creates a positive cycle that rewards activities I look forward to. Story 78. I had an irregular heartbeat, and if I gain weight again, it will be more likely to return. Persistent atrial fibrillation is not fun. Story 79. The sad reality is that no woman has ever loved me without muscle. Story 80. Nothing. I do it about 4 days a week. I literally have no reason. I do not want to get stronger. I am not worried about being healthier, and I do not want to look different. None of the usual reasons resonate with me. I basically go to hang out with my wife. I think because I played sports my whole life and was predisposed to be athletic, the common reasons have not applied to me. Story 81. I've been working out since I was 15. I'm 45 now. It is like breathing. It is what I do. It is more than staying fit or keeping myself from looking bad. It is my iron therapy. It is 90 minutes when I am uninterrupted and can be one with my thoughts and my playlist. Story 82. I want to remain healthy and fit so I can live a long, active life with my wife and children. Story 83. I found success with fitness classes, specifically a martial arts gym. I value the community and the ability to turn my brain off when I do not have to plan what I am doing. It is also rewarding to see a skill progress over time. Story 84. I do not want to become too weak, especially since my job is quite physical. Story 85. I solve my problems when I work out. It is the best natural stress reliever. It keeps me grounded and sane. After a few days without it, I do not feel as good. It is therapeutic and a huge confidence booster. If you stay consistent with it, you will reach a point where you are no longer sore and will look forward to it because the shift in mood and mindset afterward is palpable and worth it. Story 86. Seeing seniors today who did not exercise and are now in wheelchairs while others are still enjoying life. Story 87. Having asthma and working out can be fun. I love challenging myself and the way my body releases endorphins. I am someone who values growth above all. Personal spiritual growth is the most enjoyable experience for me. Story 88. I look at people like my brother Dale who has no motivation, and it motivates me not to be like that. He is 40 years old and he is a security guard at a mall. He drives a pink geo-tracker and he lives in an efficiency apartment on 8 Mile Road. He has a bald, potato-shaped head, a swollen belly, enlarged male breasts, thin legs, bad breath, and ingrown toenails. He has not seen his penis since the Clinton administration. I told myself I never want to become like that. Instead, at 35 years old, I have a rocking body. Dale motivated me to take protein shakes, energy drinks, and protein powder, and to do 200 squats, bench presses, push-ups, shoulder presses, and pull-ups first thing every morning. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.